it's Olivia-Savannah here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today we have started a Bath travel vlog. I'm in Bath and I'm on holiday with Simi. Simi is my sibling, and this is our very first time actually doing a trip, just us two traveling together, isn't it?
It is our first solo trip.
And we chose Bath, well I chose Bath, because I've never been here, you've never been here, it's not going abroad, but we decided that, we talked about it, and we decided we're going to do this vlog a bit like a carer disabled travel vlog with some reading involved. So the very first thing to note is that we packed up everything and got ready to go to get here from our flat in London. Now, the thing about when we travel together is that there are always layers to getting ready, right? I will always wake up about an hour before Simi wakes up so I can get myself ready, for the most part, and have my own breakfast, and then you wake up an hour later to get yourself ready.
Yeah.
And have your breakfast. And mostly I'm still not finished being ready, so it's kind of intertwined. But we did that, and we had some very nice overnight, well, you had some very nice overnight chocolate oats.
They were very tasty.
Which are from the 20-minute vegan cookbook, which I'll have a link to down below, or like the title down below, because I love that cookbook and I really recommend it. And then we got the coach, the National Express coach, from Victoria bus station to Bath. And that was the second time that I've done it with you, but the first, you've done it more times than me.
Yeah, I've done it, yeah.
And for me, I knew that we were coming for this 4-day weekend with backpacks only, so that there was no suitcase because I can't push Simi and pull a suitcase. So we both had a backpack, you also had a laptop bag, and I think I very vastly underestimated how heavy everything is. Like the backpack plus your backpack plus the weight of pushing you plus the laptop bag, it was so heavy and I was struggling a bit, and I was just like, oh my goodness. Think it through next time, or like have someone to help us get to the coach next time.
You kept saying like, say things to distract me, talk to me to distract me from how heavy this is.
Because yeah, it was a bit much, but I work out, I'm strong. And we got here, and yeah, it's just a learning for on the London side, because I did book the hotel that was near the station, so that's not too far a walk, and I think that was fine.
Yeah.
It was just like taking the tube and the bus and everything on the London side. Yeah. How was the coach situation for you?
The coach situation was good. I do think, you know, the thing is with these coaches, the seatbelt is a little bit low when you use a wheelchair. So that was a little bit like over my arm, so a little bit like you tilt forwards a little bit when you stop, because it's not like here. But that was the only thing. It still was a super comfortable ride, and I only just got woken up a few times from this motion, but it's fine, I'm used to it.
Cool. And as it's our first day in Bath and we've both never been, our plan now is to go and get lunch, because it's a late lunch. We're going to go to Spoons.
Yeah.
As Simi said, very British holiday, typical holiday if you're going to Spoons.
Yeah.
And then we are just going to walk around, explore the city centre, check out the bookshops. There are 2 bookshops I'm very excited to go to. Toppings Bath, which do fantastic SFF events. And also, that sounds so work, Olivia-Savannah, but it's true. And they're very big and cool. I've been to their Edinburgh branch. And then there's also Mr. B's, which is a bit more like, I would say it's a bit more boutique. But it sounds very good too.
I'm excited for them.
Let's go. Oh, we should show them the accessible room.
Oh yeah, we should.
Should we do that later?
Yeah.
Food first, room later. Hello, good morning and welcome to day 2 of our Bath trip. So, Simi, what did we do yesterday when we arrived?
We went to the bookshop and we went to...
The bookshop that we went to, the first one we went to was Mr. B's Bath Emporium, but we did not look around, and the reason we did not look around was because
there were steps into the shop.
Yeah, and there didn't look like a discernible way where we could get in. To be fair, we did not ask if they had a ramp, but we were
I was going to. You had to hold me back. I literally was just going to be like, is there a way for wheelchairs to get in here? And if they said no, I would have been like, well, there should be.
But I was very tired. That was our number one reason why we didn't. But we also did go and see the bridge.
Yeah.
Pulteney Bridge. Very cool.
Oh, Javier had a famous scene there in Les Miserables.
Yes, the film. A very famous scene there.
Mm-hmm.
And after Pulteney Bridge, then we went to Toppings Bath. And how was Topping Bath for accessibility?
It was very good. There were lifts to every section, and I could fit in between all the wallways and everything.
The hallways?
The hallways, sorry. A little bit tired. And yeah, it was. We had a lot of fun in that library. There was sliding ladders. Did you know that? Fun fact: Olivia-Savannah is scared of ladders because she fell off one. She broke her neck when she was.
I didn't break my neck. I pulled a muscle in my neck.
Yeah.
When I fell off a top bunk ladder when I was younger. So they know that I don't go up the ladder. I've explained this in Toppings Edinburgh because there's a book by Becky Albertalli because her name's A. It's always on the top shelf. So I've never actually bought that book because I can't climb the ladder to get to it.
Why don't you just ask someone?
Because I'm an introvert.
Wow.
You roll your eyes so much. Anyway, we went to Toppings Bath. We spent over an hour in that bookshop.
Yeah.
And we bought books. They're here.
I was bullied into buying mine.
You were not bullied, you were influenced. So, the book that Simi got is City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is a book that I love so much. I gave it 5 stars. I adore this whole series. It's got Prince Ali in it. It's got really extravagant and brilliant world building. It's got Muslim representation in the fantasy that it is. And it's also like a desert magical fantasy with jinn and a whole load more creatures for you to explore.
I'm looking forward to it. I like big sci-fis.
Fantasies.
It's not sci-fi, okay? I like big fantasies.
And I got this book with my gift card, and that is Next to Kin. No, sorry. And that is Next of Kin by Hannah Bonham Young. This was recommended to me by my friend because Hannah Bonham Young writes very good queer, disabled, diverse characters, from what I understand. And this one is about 2 carers who decide to move in together for the sake of who they're caring for. One of them is caring for a little baby, and one of them is caring for their deaf younger brother, I think. And they have their romance and their love story. And yeah, I'm a carer, so...
Very apt for this holiday.
Yes, thought it would be nice to have this one. I was really torn between this and Out on a Limb, which has like surprise pregnancy, prosthetic, and disability rep as well. But went with this one because this is more reflective of my life. The other one's more reflective of your life. And what else I will say about Bath so far? Other than that, we also, oh my gosh, we have to tell them about heavenly desserts.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What do you got to say about that?
What were you good about that?
It was heavenly.
She took one bite of her cookie dough and she was like, that's heavenly.
White, it was a warm, gooey, white chocolate and raspberry cookie dough that was melt in your mouth. Goodness! With some gelato on the side to kind of help wash it down because it was really sweet.
Mine was a dark chocolate cookie dough with pistachio sauce and crushed pistachios on top, the pistachio gelato. And it was so warm and thick and gooey and oh, it was delicious.
Was it pistachio?
It was, but like it was not overwhelmingly pistachio. It was really just like cookie dough, dark chocolate cookie dough, with just a hint of pistachio on top.
Delicious. So if you are in Bath, please check out Heavenly Desserts. And then we came home. And now we're going today. One thing I also want to say about Bath is that as a carer pushing the wheelchair, there are a lot of cobblestones, there are a lot of uneven pavements. That's because Bath is kind of like an old town vibes. So be prepared for that if you're coming as a wheelchair user.
It's not that bad, I think. It's not as bad as like, well, they're not small cobblestones.
There's a couple of small cobblestones.
Okay, but when you say cobblestones, don't have in mind like these tiny little ones. Like they're quite big.
So that's what I mean. There's uneven pavement, but those are the slabs of pavement.
Yeah.
But we did go over quite a few patches of cobblestone yesterday. I think sometimes you don't notice.
No, I do notice. I do for sure.
Anyway, where we're going...
And the one gets shaken like a maraca, so I do.
And the one who has to push down harder, so I also do.
I'm like... Brrr,
and I'm like, muscle. I think I noticed that. So either which way, today might be the proper say on that, because we've been warned ahead of time that where we're going, there's supposed to be more cobblestone. So we'll see if we come across that or not, and then we'll report back. But either which way, we had our delicious Premier Inn breakfast, and we are going to do our little self-made Bridgerton walking tour.
Because the other one isn't accessible.
Because the other one, yeah, that's it. That's true. The other one isn't accessible. They wouldn't let us on it. And you know what? I think we jolly well can go to all those places.
So we're doing it?
So we're doing it for ourselves.
Sisters are
doing it for themselves. Such a bad quiet. Woo! So outfit of the day. Woo! Woo!
That's what she thinks she is to everyone.
Oh, superior! Oh, you're so silly. And welcome back to our Bath vlog. No time has passed at all. No time. Nothing has changed. No hair or whatever. We're here to tell you about our last day in Bath and our thoughts and feelings on the journey getting home, which was hindered by the fact that we bought so many books.
So you bought so many books?
That you enabled me to buy so many books. This is what it's like living with this person. So, on the last day, we went to the Golden Arch and the Farrington House. Now, the interesting thing about us going to the Golden Arch is that was the part of the Bridgerton tour that they said would be really difficult for us to do because you had to go up a hill and the hill had cobblestones. How did you find it? How did you find your journey up there?
well, as we established, it's more about how did you find it?
It was tough. It was tough and it was rough. But did I do it?
Well enough.
That's not the ringing endorsement I expected to get.
No, I was just trying to make it rhyme.
Oh yeah. The Backstreet Cat, they became a poem. Anyway, so yeah, we did it, and it wasn't that bad, to be honest. Like, I've gone up way worse hills with you, I think. And how did you feel seeing the Featherington House?
It was pretty cool. The Golden Arch is very beautiful. Yeah.
It was very golden.
Yeah.
Like, the sunlight was just like, ooh. So that was very nice. And then we went down to the Botanical Gardens, which was easy enough to go down because the path was smooth. But what did you think of the Botanical Gardens?
There was no garden. There were no flowers. It was a street.
It was pretty sad. It was pretty sad, I agree. There were some of those old rotunda things that we figured out what they were called at the time, but I can't remember anymore.
Yeah.
So...
Gazebo! But you called it a...
something else, because the gazebo was the American version of the... Oh no! But whatever, there were some of those and it looked a bit sad. So we didn't stay there long. Instead, we went to a cafe.
Yeah, lemon tart.
Okay, do you want to speak in full sentences?
We ordered a lemon tart. I was gonna have it. Olivia-Savannah was like, well, if you want, I can halve it with you. We shared a price. But it was so good. It was so good in the end. I kind of wish I had the full slice to myself.
And then we also had hot chocolate, and we spent some time in that cafe reading.
I fell asleep.
They fell asleep for most of it, and I was reading What White People Can Do Next by Emma DeBerry, which is one of the best books I read this year. And then after that we went home. Go on, so we're gonna say?
We watched World War Z, and we had takeout.
Yes, so World War Z was a book that we both read, and we both loved. It's also a fantastic book. And then we watched the film, and what did we think of the film?
Oh gosh, it was nothing like the book at all.
Nothing like the book at all, but was it even good? Oh my gosh, Brad Pitt's acting was so bad. So bad. And you pointed out a massive plot hole in the whole film version of it.
Which is like, well, I guess I can't say it.
You can't say the spoilers. But anyway, there's a massive plot hole with I can't say the There's a massive plot hole that you pointed out, which was very smart, and the book is so international. They've made it all about this white family.
Yeah.
And it's just so different. But it's a horror film that's non-gory.
Which is why I was able to watch it.
But I don't really, like, on my horror scale, I don't consider it horror because it's so not scary. But I guess on people's scales who have a normal level of horror in their life, it's considered a horror film.
Yeah, because usually the genre isn't subjective.
Horror is subjective.
Horror is subjective, but whether something fits within the genre or not is not subjective.
That is so subjective because genre is a marketing tool.
Maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with that one. So yes, we watched World War Z and we ordered Thai food takeout, which I then went and picked up and brought back to the flat so we could eat it while we watched Thing, and it was great.
Yeah.
Love the Thai food. And then the next day we came back, which was really hindered by the fact that we had so much luggage. But actually it was actually fine. It felt so much easier for me this time. I'm not sure what happened, but the way back felt like it was so much quicker than the way there in terms of walking to the station. And I feel like we took a different route. It was heavy, I admit, it was heavy because I bought all those books. It was really heavy. And also I couldn't quite figure out where the bus stop was.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Do you have anything to say around the bus stop and the coach journey back? We loved our coach journey experience there, but I think you can speak to this.
The journey back was really bad. First of all, the lift was kind of broken on the way in.
The lift to what?
The lift into the coach. And it took a long time to be able to do. And it took a long time to get on the coach, but then to get the lift down so that the coach could come back in was difficult as well, and you had to get volunteers. But eventually, I think it took like half an hour, it worked. And he started to drive us back, and then about halfway through the journey, he switched and someone else took over. Yeah, someone new came in, and obviously it was someone who wasn't very well versed in the job. he literally said, I've just come out of training, I don't really know what I'm doing.
No, he didn't say I just came out of training. So the other guy had trained and he learned and he could see that there was something wrong with the lift and he was like trying to fix it and work it. It was a problem with the coach. But the first guy said, oh, I did my wheelchair training and then I forgot it because I don't need it. That's literally what he said.
Yeah.
It wasn't that he was new from the training because he had been a driver for a while.
How did he drive? I don't think he'd been a driver for a while.
Not like, but he wasn't fresh off the training. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was like he'd been a coach driver for like months, and then he was just like, oh yeah, I did the training back when you do the training, and then like I never used it, so I'd forgotten how to do it. And that was really bad because we wrote beforehand that we were coming as someone who has a wheelchair user. And that they assured me, they got back to me and they said, we contacted all the drivers on your journey so they know someone who is using a wheelchair is going to be there, so that they have forewarned, so that if they do need to brush up on their training, they would have had ample time to brush up on their training.
Yeah. Like, I didn't do the research, didn't really bother. Also, there's supposed to be a bunch of announcements they say when they start the journey. He didn't say any of that either, he just started driving. Clearly someone didn't really care about procedure. And then on the way off it was quite terrible because obviously he didn't know how to unstrap the wheelchair and stuff and had to receive help, but also was very impatient with the chair and was being quite violent with it, like, why isn't this working, really jangling about, which wasn't great. And then he grabbed my arm to lift it, to move it, and I kept it very still and I was like, do you want me to lift my arm? And he said, yeah. And I said, then ask, because don't just grab me and try to move my limbs for me quite violently. So I was not very happy with that.
And the lift broke on the way down.
Yeah. Wasn't a great lift.
And that guy just had no clue what he was doing. Like, the other coach driver fixed it himself and knew the mechanics of it. This guy had no clue, was just like trying to call people, trying to ask people, and somebody else came and solved the problem in the end with a bit of my help, because I have now seen enough lifts to sometimes know what the problem is. So that was a really bad experience. And then it wasn't a bad experience coming home after that, but the tube journey was fine. It was just the bus, we were stuck in traffic and it was crammed. So it was just not a really nice journey home. So that was our first solo trip
But one of the highlights that I've lived on is that lavender and chamomile tea we bought at the Bouderie, what's it called again? The Boudoir. Was it?
Boudoir.
I think that's what it was. But anyway, the Bridgerton tea that we bought.
Yeah.
We've had it since and it is glorious.
10 out of 10. The lavender infused with the chamomile just relaxes my body. And chamomile is great for helping get to sleep. Lavender is my sleep scent, but it also like you taste the lavender infusion. It's not like a light lavender touch on a chamomile tea. It is a blend of them both.
Yeah. You can see the little fuzzy balls of chamomile whole. You can see the figs of lavender. Like, it is just like a packet stuffed with the actual thing.
So good. 10 out of 10 for that tea.
Love, my favourite tea ever.
So that has been delicious.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really nice thing to mention and end on, but we've got one more thing to end on, because now that was our first solo trip as somebody who is disabled and a carer, and siblings, and besties.
Yeah. No, it was
And so, we need to rate this trip out of 10. What would you give it out of 10?
Really high. You should go first.
Why me? I'm so curious about your answers.
I'm curious about your answer.
I give it really high too.
Yeah.
Say a number, let's say it at the same time.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Go on, say it! No, let's actually do it. Let's like legit do it.
Do it.
Okay, yeah. 3, 2, 1, 8. Nice! So we said 8.5 if you didn't hear it, and I said 8. So that's really good.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it was just such a lovely time. I know we can't like review our conversations, but getting to talk to you and chill with you and hang out with you, it's funny because we live together all the time, but it was nice to like have that quality time in a different place.
Yeah.
Would you do it again somewhere else in the UK?
Yeah, I drank bacteria water in the Roman baths. That was really unique.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, just go and try a bunch of stuff that I wouldn't have tried otherwise.
Yeah, and see some new places. So,
And no shop has been more aptly named than Heavenly Desserts. I still think about it to this day.
oh, heavenly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely explore new places. Maybe we'll go on another one. So maybe there'll be a part 2 of this vlog at some point.
Yeah.
And with all that said, please let us know in the comment section down below, have you ever gone on a trip, you and your sibling, or if you're an only child, have you ever gone on a trip, you and your close friend? Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior!